A club just paid $100 million for a single player. $100 million for one man who kicks a ball. Now here's the question nobody ever asks. Where does that money actually go? You probably think it goes to the club selling him. Simple. One club pays, the other gets paid. You'd be wrong. By a lot. Because before that $100 million ever reaches the selling club, it gets attacked, sliced, skimmed, taxed, split between people you've never heard of. By the time the dust settles, the club that sold the player might keep less than half. So who takes the rest? And why does nobody talk about it? There's an invisible chain of hands that every transfer fee passes through, and each one takes a cut before the next even sees it. Let's follow a single transfer, dollar by dollar, and watch where it really ends up. Let's start with the headline. Club buys player for $100 million. That number is designed to sound clean. One payment, one destination. But a transfer fee is almost never paid the way you think. First surprise, it's rarely paid all at once. Big fees are split into installments paid over several years. So the $100 million club might only hand over a chunk this year, and the rest, slowly, later. Second surprise, the headline number is often inflated. It includes add-ons, bonuses that only get paid if the player wins trophies, plays a certain number of games, or hits targets. Some of that money may never be paid at all, so already the real number is fuzzier than the headline, but that's just the packaging. The real story is what happens to the money that does change hands. Because the selling club is at the very end of the queue, and a lot of hands reach into the money before it gets there. Let's meet them. Hand number 1, the taxman. Football transfers are business transactions and business gets taxed. Depending on the country, a serious slice of the money can vanish into tax before anyone celebrates. Hand number 2, the agent. The player's agent takes a fee, often a percentage of the deal. On a huge transfer, that percentage is a fortune. And sometimes there isn't one agent. There's the player's agent, the club's intermediary, and a middleman nobody can quite explain. Each one wants paying. Hand number 3, solidarity and training fees. Here's one almost no fan knows about. When a player is sold, a small percentage of the fee is legally owed to every club that trained him as a young player. The little academy that coached him at age 12? It gets a cut years later of his $100 million move. It's actually one of the fairer parts of the system, but it's another slice off the top. So before the selling club sees a single dollar, the tax, the agents, and the training clubs have all reached in. The $100 million is shrinking fast. Now here's where it gets worse for the club that actually sold the player. Whatever's left after tax and fees, the club still might not keep it. Why? Sell-on clauses. When that club bought the player years ago, the previous club might have negotiated a sell-on. If you ever sell him, we get a percentage of the profit. So the selling club sells for $100 million and has to hand a chunk of it straight back to the club it bought him from. Then there's debt. Many clubs have already borrowed against future transfer income, so the money arrives and flows straight out again to a bank to cover a loan taken years ago. And then there's the simplest killer of all. They have to replace the player. You sold your star for $100 million. The fans expect a new star, so the money that just came in goes straight back out the door on the next signing, plus his wages, plus his agent, plus his signing bonus. Add it all up. Tax, agents, solidarity payments, sell-on clauses, debt, replacement. That clean, shiny $100 million? The selling club might turn just a fraction of it into actual usable cash. The number in the headline was never the number in the bank. So here's the twist. If the selling club keeps so little, and the buying club spends so much. Who actually wins a transfer? Look at who takes their cut no matter what happens next. The agent gets paid whether the player succeeds or flops. The taxman gets paid whether the club goes bankrupt next year or not. The middlemen get paid and then they vanish. The two clubs are gambling. One's betting the player is worth it. The other's betting it can spend the money well. Both might lose, but the people in the middle, the ones who touch the money as it flows past, they never gamble. They just take their slice and step back. That's the real secret of the transfer market. The clubs and the players make the headlines, but the steadiest money in football belongs to the people you never see, the ones whose entire job is to stand between the money and its destination, holding out a hand. A transfer isn't one club paying another. It's a river of money, and everyone who built a dam on that river gets rich no matter who wins the match. So next time you see club signs player for $100 million, you'll know the truth. That number isn't a payment. It's the top of a waterfall. And by the time it reaches the bottom, most of it has been drunk along the way. The selling club gets the headline. The people in the middle get the money. That's what this channel is about. The money hiding behind the game everyone thinks they already understand. If this changed how you read a transfer, subscribe. Because every window will follow the money the headlines would rather you ignored. Where football meets finance, this is Ink Offside.